We like to think we live in a world of reason and transparency. But what if that's just what they want us to believe? What if behind the curtain of normalcy, a darker truth lurks? This is Top 10 Conspiracy Theories that turned out to be true. Our journey begins in the depths of the Cold War, a time of paranoia and suspicion, where the United States and the Soviet Union circled each other like wary predators. It was during this era, shrouded in secrecy, that the CIA launched a top-secret program known as MKUltra. The goal? To explore the possibilities of mind control. The means? A chilling cocktail of drugs, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and psychological torture. For years, rumors of MKUltra circulated in the shadows, dismissed by many as the ramblings of paranoid minds. But in 1975, a Senate committee uncovered a trove of declassified documents, blowing the lid off this clandestine operation. The documents revealed a program far more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. Human subjects, often unwitting participants, were subjected to horrific experiments, their minds and bodies pushed to the breaking point. The CIA's goal was to create the perfect assassin, a mind-controlled operative who would carry out orders without question or remorse. The full extent of MKUltra's atrocities may never be known. Many records were destroyed, and countless victims remain unidentified. But the program's legacy serves as a chilling reminder of the lengths to which power will go to maintain control. June 17, 1972. A seemingly ordinary day at the Watergate Hotel in Washington, D.C. But behind the facade of normalcy, a political earthquake was about to erupt. 5 men were arrested for breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters located within the hotel. The initial reports were confusing, almost mundane. A third-rate burglary, some suggested. But as journalist Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein of the Washington Post dug deeper, they uncovered a tangled web of connections leading all the way to the White House. It turned out that the burglars were connected to President Richard Nixon's re-election campaign. Their mission? To plant listening devices and steal confidential information. What began as a seemingly minor incident quickly escalated into a full-blown political scandal that captivated the nation. Denials, cover-ups, and dirty tricks became the order of the day as the Nixon administration fought tooth and nail to bury the truth. But the truth, like water, has a way of finding its level. Tapes of Nixon's Oval Office conversations revealed his complicity in the cover-up, shattering his carefully constructed facade of innocence. The year was 1932. In Alabama, a sinister study was beginning. It targeted African-American men, promising free health care. But it was about exploiting their vulnerability. For 40 years, these men were unwittingly subjected to a grave violation of medical ethics. Researchers wanted to observe syphilis's natural progression. These men were never told they had syphilis. They were told they had bad blood. The treatment was a placebo. The disease ravaged their bodies, spreading to their families, all in the name of science. Even after penicillin became the standard treatment, they were denied it. In 1972, Peter Buxton exposed the truth. Public outcry was immediate and fierce. The Tuskegee Syphilis Study became a symbol of medical racism and exploitation. The legacy of Tuskegee still casts a long shadow. It eroded trust in the medical community, particularly among African Americans. April 26, 1986, Pripyat, a seemingly ordinary city in Soviet Ukraine, became the epicenter of one of the world's most devastating nuclear disasters. Chernobyl, the name itself, evokes images of a smoldering reactor, a ghost town frozen in time, and a cloud of radioactive fallout spreading across Europe. The official story, a flawed reactor design and operator error, was presented to the world. But behind the Iron Curtain, whispers of a cover-up began to circulate. Were there other factors at play? Had the Soviet government, obsessed with secrecy and maintaining its image, downplayed the severity of the accident? The true extent of the disaster, the human cost, and the environmental consequences were shrouded in secrecy. The world watched in horror as the invisible enemy of radiation silently spread, leaving a trail of unanswered questions in its wake. Years later, as the Soviet Union crumbled, so too did the wall of silence surrounding Chernobyl. Scientists, engineers, and former Soviet officials began to speak out, revealing a disturbing truth. It turned out that the reactor's design flaws were known, but ignored. Cost-cutting measures and a culture of secrecy within the Soviet nuclear industry had created a ticking time bomb. The operators on that fateful night were working with inadequate training and faulty equipment. The initial response to the disaster was also mishandled. The evacuation of Pripyat was delayed, and information about the true extent of the radiation leak was suppressed. This delay had devastating consequences, exposing countless people to dangerous levels of radiation. The Chernobyl disaster was not simply an accident, it was a systemic failure, a chilling reminder of the devastating consequences of government secrecy and negligence. It was the summer of 1947. The world was still recovering from the Second World War, and in the vast, desolate landscape of Roswell, New Mexico, something extraordinary happened. Something that would ignite imaginations and fuel conspiracy theories for decades to come. It began with reports of a crashed flying disc on a ranch near Roswell. The military initially confirmed the discovery, even issuing a press release that sent shockwaves across the nation. Had we finally made contact? Was this proof that we are not alone in the universe? But then, just as quickly as the story emerged, it vanished. The military recanted its statement, claiming the debris was merely from a weather balloon. Case closed, they said. But for many, the explanation felt like a cover-up, a desperate attempt to hide the truth. The Roswell incident quickly faded from the headlines, but it never truly disappeared. Whispers of what really happened persisted, fueled by eyewitness accounts from ranchers, morticians, and even military personnel who claimed to have seen something truly extraordinary. Stories circulated of strange metallic debris unlike anything seen before, of bodies recovered from the crash site, not of this world. The government's denials only seemed to strengthen the resolve of those who believed something extraterrestrial had fallen from the sky that day. Over the years, Roswell became synonymous with UFO sightings and government cover-ups. It spawned countless books, documentaries, and fictional accounts, each attempting to unravel the truth. Even today, the debate rages on. Was it simply a weather balloon, as the government maintains? Or did something truly extraordinary occur in the desert that summer? Something the authorities are desperate to keep hidden. The mystery of Roswell endures. Remember that feeling you get when you think someone's watching you but you're not quite sure? That unsettling sense that someone's reading over your shoulder, listening in on your conversations? Well, for years that feeling wasn't just paranoia. It was a reality for millions thanks to the NSA's PRISM program. A massive surveillance operation collecting phone calls, emails, internet browsing history, all without a warrant, all without your knowledge. Every private conversation, potentially in the hands of a government agency. This wasn't some far-fetched conspiracy theory. This was real, and it was happening right under our noses. The revelations about PRISM raised serious questions about privacy and government overreach. The truth about PRISM might never have come to light if it weren't for whistleblowers like Edward Snowden. Snowden's leaks in 2013 revealed the staggering scope of the NSA's surveillance program. Suddenly, the world was forced to confront the uncomfortable reality of Big Brother. The fallout from Snowden's revelations was immediate and intense. The PRISM program serves as a stark reminder that power can be abused, and secrets have a way of coming out. It's a story that forces us to ask ourselves, how much privacy are we willing to sacrifice in the name of security? Imagine this. The US government, desperate to drum up support for military intervention in Cuba, hatches a plan so audacious, so morally reprehensible, that it sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood thriller. This wasn't a work of fiction, but a real proposal known as Operation Northwoods, drafted in 1962 by the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The plan orchestrated a series of false flag attacks on American soil, blaming them on the Cuban government and using the outrage to justify an invasion. Thankfully, President John F. Kennedy rejected the plan, recognizing the moral abyss it represented. But the very fact that such a proposal was even considered, drafted in black and white, is chilling. The story of Operation Northwoods serves as a stark reminder of the importance of skepticism, of questioning official narratives. It's a reminder that sometimes the truth really is stranger than fiction. For centuries, whispers have circulated about a secret society, a cabal of powerful individuals pulling the strings from the shadows. This is the legend of the Illuminati. Are they real, these puppet masters of history, or are they merely figments of our collective imagination? The truth is far more complex, shrouded in layers of speculation and paranoia. The Illuminati are said to be comprised of the world's elite, politicians, bankers, media moguls, celebrities, all working in concert to achieve a singular, often nefarious goal: world domination, economic control, even the establishment of a new world order. While mainstream historians often dismiss the Illuminati as a product of overactive imaginations, the legend persists. It pops up in books, movies, music lyrics, and online forums, a constant hum of suspicion just beneath the surface of our everyday lives. The historical roots of the Illuminati can be traced back to 18th century Bavaria, where a secret society of that name did actually exist for a brief period. Founded by a law professor named Adam Weishaupt, the Bavarian Illuminati advocated for Enlightenment ideals and opposed religious and state influence over public life. However, this historical group was short-lived, disbanded by the Bavarian government within a decade of its founding. So how did a relatively obscure 18th century society become synonymous with global conspiracy and covert control? That's where things get murky. Over time, the legend of the Illuminati became intertwined with other conspiracy theories fueled by anti-Masonic sentiment and a distrust of powerful institutions. The lines between fact and fiction blurred, and the Illuminati transformed into a catch-all boogeyman, blamed for everything from economic crises to political assassinations. Whether or not the Illuminati, as depicted in popular culture, actually exists remains a matter of debate. But the enduring power of the myth speaks to a deeper anxiety about power, control, and the unseen forces that shape our world. It's a reminder that sometimes the most enduring conspiracies are those that tap into our deepest fears and uncertainties. The Manhattan Project. It sounds like something out of a comic book, doesn't it? A name shrouded in mystery, hinting at something powerful, something dangerous. But this was no work of fiction. This was a real project, hidden in plain sight, tucked away in secret cities across the United States. Thousands of people worked tirelessly on this project, sworn to secrecy, unaware of the true nature of their work. They knew they were working on something important, something that could change the course of the war. But they had no idea just how much their work would change the world forever. The goal of the Manhattan Project was to create the atomic bomb, a weapon of unimaginable destructive power. The scientists involved knew the potential consequences of their work, the sheer devastation it could unleash. But the war raged on, and the fear of a Nazi Germany armed with such a weapon fueled their efforts. The ethical implications of creating such a weapon, the burden of responsibility, weighed heavily on their minds. The 1980s, a time of Cold War tensions and political maneuvering. It was during this tumultuous period that the Iran-Contra affair unfolded, a scandal that shook the U.S. government to its core. At the heart of it all was a secret deal, a clandestine operation involving the sale of arms to Iran, a country the U.S. had labeled a state sponsor of terrorism. The goal? To secure the release of American hostages held in Lebanon by groups with ties to Iran. But the story didn't end there. The money from the arms sales was then secretly funneled to the Contras, a rebel group fighting against the socialist government in Nicaragua. The Iran-Contra affair was a tangled web of lies, deceit, and covert operations. It involved high-ranking government officials, secret Swiss bank accounts, and clandestine meetings in shadowy corners of the world. When the truth finally came out, it sparked outrage and a sense of betrayal among the American public. The scandal exposed the dark underbelly of power, the lengths to which governments would go to achieve their objectives, even if it meant breaking the law and deceiving their own people. Conspiracy theories aren't always just stories. Some of them are dark truths that have been hiding in plain sight for decades. But now, as more secrets are uncovered, one question remains. What else are we still being kept in the dark about? Want more eye-opening secrets? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of our next deep dive into history's biggest mysteries. Comment below if you'd like us to explore more conspiracy theories.